Hi everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage with another success story. Today we have Swati who is going to share her success with you guys so that you can learn from her and be successful yourselves. So Swati, can you start off by just introducing yourself to everyone?
Hi, Chris. My name is Swati. I am from India, but currently working in Singapore. Um, and I'm in IT security right now. So yeah.
Excellent. And can you take people through your IELTS journey a little bit? So when did you start preparing for the test? How many times did you do the test? That sort of thing. What scores are you
Mm.
getting? That type of thing.
Okay. So firstly, my objective of giving this test was to migrate to another country. So there were certain scores that I absolutely needed. The first time I attempted the exam was last year in August. At the time, I did not know that I did not know the challenges that other students were facing. I, in fact, was quite overconfident, if I may say, about how I was approaching my lessons. The first time around, I got 8 in everything except for writing. Writing, I got 6.5, which wasn't so surprising when I understood later what may have been the reasons. And then I gave my second test now this year in March.
Mhm.
So this year I saw dramatic changes, obviously, after having researched so many resources and after having seen your videos and websites. So that really helped me a lot. Yeah.
Excellent. And what scores did you get in March?
This time I got, although my reading reduced by zero point 0.5, I got 8 in everything except for my reading 7.5, and writing I got 7.5 as well.
Excellent. So you went from 6.5 to 7.5
Yes.
in writing, which is
Yes.
a massive jump because most people really struggle to go just zero point 0.5, but to
Mhm.
go from 6.5 to 7.5 is huge. So that's a very common theme amongst a lot of our success stories where they say the first time I did the test I was overconfident because I thought that it was just an English test and my English is really
Yeah,
good and I would have no problems. Is that how you felt whenever
exactly.
you did the test the first time?
Yes, definitely. Because I had this understanding that, oh, I've been learning English from elementary level all the way up to my master's. I shouldn't have problem. In fact, I did not know that this English test was so much more than using fancy words or just putting two sentences together, especially when it came to writing. So also my challenges were time management
Mhm.
because I did not know how to approach sections like writing. I was all over the place because I didn't know how to start the question. I didn't even understand the question to begin with. I did not know there were so many types of essays also. So in fact, the first time when I realized that I got 6.5, I started researching. I started looking up into where could I have possibly gone wrong, and it didn't take me too long to realize that I need feedback. Right, firstly, I need feedback because writing was somewhere where I realized that I really need to improve. The other sections were still manageable in my understanding, but writing, because I'd also heard from other friends of mine that 6.5 was somewhere where you might be struggling for a bit. So it's then that I started researching online and I came across your website. So and then I first started with your website, where you started off with your different structures, the different type of essays that you have. And I think that helped me greatly, because I think this probably is true for many others, that we don't even know what are the different types of essays. I was in the wrong notion that there's only one or two types of essays,
Mhm.
and I was trying to and also another challenge for me was that it was very overwhelming with so many resources out there, right? Like, a lot of us come across these different model answers and so many different kinds of structures that it gets confusing. um, so, and you have also repeatedly said this, that stick to one thing, don't confuse two or three things, and I took that advice very seriously, and that helped me immensely because I stuck to one structure, and I then try to understand what the question is asking of me, and I broke it down exactly the way you have explained to us, in fact. So I first, of course, started off with your free resources, and your essay builder helped immensely as well. And then the next step was to get feedback once I practiced with all the knowledge that I acquired. And that's when I signed up for the VIP program.
And when we gave you feedback and looked at your essays, for most of our students, the first thing that they think is, okay, now I understand why I was getting 6.5. What were the things that we were bringing up to you, and what were the things that you needed to improve when we gave you that feedback?
Mm. Um, Firstly, when I was just before submitting my essays for the feedback itself, I realized that I had issues with ideation also. Because until that time, I thought that, oh, I have to use these fancy idioms or something to cover up for my ideas, Um, so that was one thing that I completely moved away from. And again, as I said, time management.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the planning. So once I put that into place, and once I submitted my essays, the number one feedback was making small grammatical errors, like for example, like workplace, where I have to use words together and where I have to split the words, simple
Mm-hmm.
things like that, which I had not realized that I'd been using it wrongly all this while, or how is it's used in different situations. Things like that I learned. And also, I think what the one thing that was common in my essays that truly helped me improve was the example that I give should be relevant to the point I'm trying to put across. So sometimes I think my example was a bit vague. I was not able to tie it back to what it is that I was trying to explain in my main point. So the feedback helped me to tie that together as well. I gave two essays actually, and I made sure that I wrote two different kinds of essays. Like one I think was advantage and another one was an opinion, because while practicing I realized that these two were the kind of essays where I got confused more often, when it came to how to split ideas maybe. So I made sure that I gave those where I absolutely need feedback. So yeah, and that's when I realized that the timing. So I also got this feedback that the first time around, one of the instructors told me that even if you're not able to finish the essay on time, make sure that your essay is complete. Because I think my conclusion, just because I wanted to finish it within the given frame of time, I just hurriedly finished it off. So that was also another feedback that I got. And then the second time I improved a lot when I got the feedback. Yeah.
So time management seemed to be one of the biggest issues for you. Apart from
Um,
when you started to understand that keeping things simple is the best thing to do, and to avoid fancy vocabulary and idioms and things like that. So that is a big part of it. But let's focus on that time management issue, because that's an issue that you had and many people watching will have. How did
mm,
you make sure that you got everything done in 1 hour?
okay. I remember in your VIP program also, and I think in your videos, some of the videos you have mentioned that firstly, once you get the hang of the writing to essay, start with that, approach that first, and then go to writing one, because writing one is a letter, right? So the format is a lot simpler to approach, whereas writing two takes more time to think about and break it down into different aspects like ideation and your main body part. So that was the first thing that I approached. First I started with the writing two and then the writing one. In writing two itself, which was a main problem, I think I did not spend too much time in thinking about some out of the box ideas. I just thought
Keep it
about what is the
simple.
first thing that, yeah, just exactly, just keep it simple. Think about the one thing that even if it's a very unknown topic, just think about the first thing that comes to you and then elaborate on that. So I did initially it was a bit hard for me to, sit down and write everything, because that wasn't how I'd approached initially. But I really, really worked hard to follow that structure, exactly how I think you and your instructors have been sharing, that break it down, start with the plan, and that helped me immensely in my time management, because when I actually got down to writing the essay, it saved me a lot of time.
Yeah. So I think you can summarize as like simplify the task, keep it simple, plan everything out, use that planning time as an investment. And then once you start writing, you will have more freedom. You'll have more time to actually get everything done. So I think a lot of students waste a lot of time trying to think of, as you said, out of the box ideas or high level ideas when you don't really need that. So don't waste your time on things that you don't need. And then other students see planning as a waste of time because they're like, I can't get everything done. And now you're telling me to not do any writing, but to plan first. But what I always say, it's
Hmm.
like Google Maps for your essay. You wouldn't, if you were trying to find a building somewhere, let's say you're on holiday, you wouldn't say putting the address into Google Maps is a waste of time, or following Google Maps is a waste of time. See your planning stage as like creating a map for your essay, and then you can just focus on writing. Would you agree with that?
Yes, most definitely. That really, really helped me. So I really want to tell this to the students, that please take some time out, plan it. Maybe initially some of us can't accommodate that in the given time that we're supposed to. But first, I did it without a hard deadline. I did not put the time aspect first. First, I wanted to plan it out. First, understanding the structure, understanding the question, and then breaking it down in terms of ideation, in terms of what it is that I'm trying to explain, and then the supporting example. And eventually, when I started practicing that, and I was fairly confident that, okay, I get the plan now, I get what is expected of me, then I started timing myself.
Yeah.
Another thing that helped me a lot was, of course, after having gotten the feedback, and I was fairly confident that, okay, now I understand how this works. Towards the end of my prep, now I know a lot of students who read model answers just randomly, but my objective of reading model answers was just to capture some ideas, not more than the, I think, also ideas and the vocabulary that they probably would have used in, like, from environment perspective or something in technology, not with the idea of copying sentences per se, but just to get a feel of, okay, if this is the topic, what possible points of view there might be. And I just read through, like, how you would read articles, and that also stuck by me. So I think that helped also towards the end.
Absolutely.
But I think that would yeah but I think that would help after you have done all your practicing of essays, and after doing everything, so that then it's just about, understanding the topic itself, not so much about getting confused. Yeah,
I mean, there's so many things to understand that you can't just look at a model essay and read.
exactly.
You can't read lots of model essays and then go. It's like you can't watch Messi and Ronaldo play football and then go and play football to that level. And you need to
Yeah,
understand that, just in an essay, there's paraphrasing and thesis statements and topic sentences and explanations and
yeah,
examples and conclusions and summaries. And each of those things is a skill, and you need to break it down and understand each of those elements and then break them down even further, and understand how to do that. There's a lot more to it than just looking at lots of model essays, or looking at a structure. It's I can't
yeah.
we're using Zoom now. I can't go and look at the coding of Zoom and then go and code because I don't understand it. You need to understand the fundamentals first, before
Correct,
you can
correct.
actually do it. So that's great advice. So thank you so much, Swati. I hope that everything is good with you, and getting the right IELTS score helps you in the future. And I wish you the best of luck. And if you need anything in the future, feel free to get in touch with us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hey, Chris here again. Hopefully you enjoyed that success story video. That student was part of our IELTS VIP course. And on that course, we show students exactly where they're going wrong and exactly what to do to get the score that they need. And we give them all the help and support that they need in order to get a 7, 8, or even 9 in their IELTS test. Now, we only work with a really small number of students. Because of the level of help and feedback and support that we give students, we can only work with a very small number of them. But we also have more success stories than any other online or offline course in the world, which has created a huge amount of demand for our course. So we're the only course in the world, I believe, that has a very long waiting list. If you want to join that waiting list, all you have to do is just click here and you'll be able to add your name, add your email address, and then when one of our students becomes successful and leaves the course, the next position can be for you. Hopefully see you in there. Bye-bye.